Hey everybody, welcome back to What's for Dinner. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. It's Thursday night, about 5 o'clock. We just finished up preparing our meals. How are you doing tonight, hon?
I'm good. Like I got my plate ready.
Right on.
We're fasting for church and prayer, and so
yeah,
we're hungry.
We are hungry. So we're doing OMAD. I'll just get right into what we're eating. But first I wanted to tell you guys that this is not medical advice. Everything we're telling you here today is just for educational purposes only. So you guys, if you need medical advice, you got to go to your provider for that. Oh. That's not us. So there's that disclaimer. All right. So what do we got going on here? Teresa has her plate already done. So she had a filet tonight. I grilled these on the barbecue. So we have our filet going. And then over here, I've got some New York strips and some of our Philly cheesesteak brats. We bought all those. We bought the brats at Harder House, which is a local butcher, and then Teresa's filet and the strips are from Sam's Club. And then back there we've got some of our seasoning, so hardcore carnivore seasoning, Redmond's salt, and then Jane's crazy mixed up seasoning. And something we wanted to tell you too is to be careful with that hardcore carnivore because there's a couple of different flavors, and some of them have a lot of stuff in it like cornstarch and some other things, sugar and whatnot, that can throw you out of ketosis and kind of mess with things. So just be careful with your seasonings, just like everything else. All right, and then we've got air fried bacon in our well-loved Instant Vortex Pro air fryer. And then Teresa scrambled up some eggs tonight.
I remember the cheese.
And you remember the cheese. We didn't do cheese last night. So,
oh.
Will any of this stuff we made tonight cause our blood sugar or insulin to spike, and why is that important?
Maybe they should ask their doctor that.
Well, so this is all just your opinion, and this is stuff that reflects us, right?
Yeah, no, and all you have to do is ask for a continuous glucose monitor. They were supposed to be available this summer without a prescription, but I haven't heard any more about that. But you can pay out of pocket. I give my patients a prescription anytime they want one, and they just pay out of pocket. So if you put on a glucose monitor and you ate this meal, and then another meal you had pasta and bread and all that other stuff, you would see that this doesn't spike your sugar. So if you have diabetes, you should be wearing a continuous glucose monitor, and you should be monitoring your reactions to food you eat. And if your sugar goes up past 100 or 120, depending on how bad of a diabetic you are, or 150, nix those foods. Yeah. You would look at that monitor and you would say, oh, I can't have fill in the blank.
Yeah, so people that are type 1 diabetics, when they see their doctor, they're eating the food according to how much insulin they're taking. So the doctor says, you take this much insulin, these times and whatnot, you do it. And what we prefer to see people do, and what I think you work with some of your patients to do with diabetes, is to have them adjust their insulin based on the food. Right. So the opposite of that.
Right.
So they need a lot less insulin when they eat less sugary foods.
A lot less.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway. What did you want to, what was on your mind?
Oh yeah, there's lots of questions because we've been talking about hormones. So there's lots of questions on YouTube and Facebook. So I am biased against for hormones, and I think all females over 40 need hormones and all males over 50 need hormones. I do see younger men and women because extenuating circumstances happen. And sometimes you find friends that are like, oh no, you need hormones, don't wait. But for me personally, I started hormones at 42, and I was a hot mess, had problems with the kids doing kindergarten homework, no libido, no drive, apathy, chronic pain, insomnia. I started progesterone and testosterone because I still had plenty of estrogen. So that's another way I think when providers give women like my age at the time, 42, estrogen, you don't really understand hormones. Progesterone is the hormone of contentment, helps with anxiety, depression, sleep, and an evenness of mood. Protects your breasts, protects your heart, protects your bones, is a little Xanax, anti-anxiety, all natural, good, makes you have good sleep. So who wouldn't want that? That balances out estrogen. So for me, when I went on progesterone, my progesterone had waned, my estrogen was fine. This imbalance also sets you up for heavy, weird, wacky periods. This is why this is the age group 40 and above where women get hysterectomies or uterine ablations. Now, sometimes those are warranted, but we should try progesterone first to see if we can't balance the hormones and get your body to stop bleeding so much. And then testosterone was the other thing I went on at 42. Progesterone side effect is sleepiness, what all of us want, because as you enter perimenopause, sleep goes to the wayside. And then some women, and it did happen to me, can get bloating, water retention, but that goes away.
And so for the people who, sorry to cut you off there, but for the people who are like, oh gosh, I don't want to be sleepy, you take it at night. So you take it at night to help you sleep. So.
And that's the main complaint when you get into that age range.
Yeah.
And then testosterone is sex and muscles. You cannot have a libido without testosterone, no matter how much you like your husband. And you cannot work out and lift weights and build mass, muscle mass, without testosterone. So besides sex and muscles, testosterone is zest, vitality, motivation, strength, stamina, get up and go, get your list done. All the hormones help with anxiety, depression, blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease. The unfortunate part of testosterone is its side effects, which is acne, which will go away, but then you can get hair growth where you don't want it and hair loss where you don't want it. That is unfortunate. And it happened to me after all this time, and I tried to stop it in January, and I felt terrible. I weaned off, and I felt terrible.
Weaned off of the testosterone.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Gained weight, became apathetic, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to go to work, didn't want to have sex. Like, it was terrible.
It was terrible for me too.
Right. So then I was about 49, and I thought we were in a stressful situation, but I had anxiety ramp up. I had a panic attack, and the only other time I had a panic attack was postpartum. I had postpartum depression, but I was old when I delivered. I needed progesterone. Postpartum depression, menstrual migraines, that's always progesterone. So I just thought we were going through a horrific season. I just thought that was it. I started to have night sweats, and my sleep was interrupted, but in Missouri, it was April and May. And even this year in May, we had our air on for a couple nights, then you turn your heat on for a few nights, then you turn your air on. So I just thought it was that. But one time I remember Mark came home from out of town, and I just sat down on the steps, and I was like, someone's gonna die. And he was like, what? And I just had this doom in the pit of my stomach, which now I realize was like my anxiety. That was how I was having anxiety. So, we went to Florida a few weeks after that, super hot in Florida in June. This was June by now. And I had a panic attack in Florida. And Mark was like, what do we do? What do we do? So I went to bed that night saying, Lord, either heal me, because I had no idea I was in menopause, heal me or give me a sign of what I need to do. So I dreamt that night about a patient who was so complimentary about me starting her on estrogen. And I woke up in the morning and Mark was scared, like, how are you today? And I said, I need estrogen. I think I'm in menopause. So we came home, went to the lab, checked my FSH. It was above 50. That is your follicle stimulating hormone, indicative of menopause. And my estrogen level was 0. So I started estrogen. The final thing in Florida was I had to tighten my belt on my pants. And I said to Mark, you will not get in trouble. I know things are a little tense right now. But am I eating more than I think I am because my belly's bigger? And he hesitated, not at all. And he said, no chance, not at all. So I went on estrogen. Within 7 days, my night sweats were gone. And within 6 weeks, my belt was back. That's the power of hormones. And I kept building the estrogen by a 1/4 milligram until I got where I'm at now, which is 2.75 milligrams. And that's where my anxiety was pretty good. There was one last ditch effort with this anxiety on the estrogen. I was on 2.5. We went to dinner with friends on a Friday, and I'm sitting in the restaurant and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, what is this? This is that anxiety. It's back. I'm going straight home and I'm taking another 1/4 milligram. And by Monday, I was completely better. So that's my dose. So when you go to your doctor and you're complaining about not sleeping and anxiety and depression, and like the lady today, all they kept telling her was, you have ADD, you need more ADD medicine, you need antidepressants.
She apparently had a deficiency in antidepressant medicines and ADD medicines.
Yeah, because Jesus did not make our body with progesterone and estradiol and testosterone receptors.
Yeah, it's a shame. But what we were telling this as she was checking out, the girl today that Teresa was talking about the patient. I was talking to her about how the system isn't set up to figure out what's wrong with you. It's set up to treat your symptoms using pharmaceutical intervention.
Yes.
So they use pharmaceutical drugs. It's the first go-to. It's the only thing. They could care less what's causing it. They could care less what's really going on. All they do is follow an algorithm and they give you a medicine, a pill for an ill. It's a shame. And so she's just another example. And she's young.
She's 36, but had a hysterectomy at 26.
Yeah.
So stop. Like, this is too much. You guys can use hormones. There's no contraindication except active breast cancer. You got to get over that, and you can at least go on testosterone and thyroid. So
yeah, good stuff.
But estrogen, the only side effect to that, if you still have your uterus, is you can have a period again. However, women like me, I'm still in my I started estrogen on my 50th birthday. So I'm 53 now. So for the next, if I wasn't on any hormones, for the next 5 to 7 years of being out of menopause, it's not uncommon for a woman to have, 5 to 7 more periods. But I started estrogen on a hefty dose of progesterone, so I was already balanced. So most likely that's not going to happen. But I did think that, like, oh, I'm going to have a period? Hope not. But I didn't.
Right on.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah, hope so. All right, we're a little over 10 and a half minutes we're at right now. So, all right, guys. Well, did you have anything else you needed to say? No, all good. All right, guys. Well, tell us what you had for dinner. Shoot any questions you have our way. And as always, we love you guys.
Yes.
And God bless you all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.